Liz Wilcox here. Welcome, welcome. I am so excited. It's Tuesday night. I see the comments coming in already. Hey, Brian. He is saying hello from frigid Northeast Ohio. Negative temps. Oh my gosh. Buy your RV already. What are you doing? Christina's here, tuning in from Pennsylvania. Welcome. Super excited. Johnny Lightning, the lovely man himself, has made it this evening. Awesome. Trekkers are here. They are in frigid Michigan. You guys, seriously, I don't understand it. Katie, evening, sitting in Central Florida. I am also in Central Florida. Hey, Chicory's Travels is here. Hey, guys. Awesome, awesome. It looks like Barbara and David made it, too. Awesome, you guys. I am so excited for tonight. So excited, in fact, that I didn't even make an intro segment. We're just going to get right into this tonight. We are interviewing Anthony Nalli. Remember, he is the TV producer of the Aviators, and now he is switching gears and coming over to the RV side of things. So I want to just get right into it and play the RVers trailer, and then I'm going to introduce him to you guys, okay? Let's get into it. Hey, guys. All right, so let me, oh, now you see him because I'm screen sharing. That is so awesome, you guys. Isn't that great? So that is the trailer for the new show, The RVers, and that is going to come out this year, and it is produced by Anthony Nalli. He's our guest tonight. And when I first heard about the RVers, I saw that trailer on Facebook, actually. It really wasn't even that long ago, maybe around Christmas time, probably around when I started telling Facebook I was going to do a show about RVers. Of course, Facebook had to tell me there was already one in existence and it was going to be better. So I immediately clicked over to their Facebook page, started searching around, saw some press releases on Google, saw some awesome RVers involved in the project. And then I watched that trailer, and I just love at the end it says loving living, and I just think that was the shortest possible way to describe RVing ever, and I thought it was completely genius. So after the show started out, I said, you know what, I'm gonna reach out to these people and see what I can, see if I can get Anthony on the show. So I reached out, I dropped a couple names. I said, hey, Anthony, I've got this show. I would love to interview you about yours. What do you think? And within, what was it? I think maybe even 24 hours, Anthony emailed me back and said, this sounds great. Let's do it. So here we are. January 29th, I think. And let's bring him on out. Say hey, guys. Hey, Anthony, you're on. How are you?
Hey, how you doing? It's great to be here.
I am great. I saw that there were a ton of people freezing their butts off, and you told me before the show, where are you?
Yeah, I'm one of them. We're in the Toronto area. We're wintering in our fifth wheel, and yeah, it's cold. It's really, really, really cold. Wintering in an RV is definitely tricky. You can do it. We'll probably end up doing a segment about it on the show. There's a lot to learn, and we've learned a lot. What can I tell you?
Yeah, I was just telling Anthony last week's show was about winter RVing, and we were sharing basically horror stories and how to learn from that. So is this your first experience with winter RVing?
Yeah, I mean, we've only been RVing now since early 2015, and I mean, we've been RV passionate for well over a decade, probably going into a couple of decades.
Okay.
But we jumped in like up to here in the beginning of 2015. But this is our first winter. We've been heading south every winter and just loving snowbirding. We've just been loving that a lot. And I'm also a musician. I'm a drummer in a band. And since I joined the band, they don't really want me to go south for any extended period of time. So last winter, we rented a cottage in Niagara-on-the-Lake, which is near Niagara Falls.
Okay.
Beautiful, scenic. It was fantastic because we weren't quite ready to RV in the wintertime. But this year, we thought, let's give it a shot. Let's see what it's all about. And you know what? It's really working out. We're loving it.
Well, good for you. It's not my cup of tea, but that's what RVing is all about, right? Some people,
says the girl in Tampa.
Yeah, exactly. You know, some people have Class C's, some people have Class A's, some people have truck campers, some people go to Ontario, and some people go to Tampa. You know, there's no judgment. I love everyone equally. And their lifestyle choices.
Totally.
Someone in the comments says they're about 60 miles from you. So, hey, Jerry. All right. So, I mentioned that you have a TV series called The Aviators. And I know in the United States that's on PBS. In Canada, it's The Bell, right? Is that what it's called?
That's right. It's on Bell TV. That's right.
Okay. So, tell us about that show.
Well, I mean, it's aired around the world. It's probably airing someplace right now because we've been in over 100 countries with the Aviators. And around the world, we have well over 50 million viewers, including at our peak time, over 10 million viewers a week in the U.S. And the reason we have the Aviators is because I'm a pilot. And we started doing the Aviators about a decade ago, shortly after I got my pilot's license. And I just love flying. It's something that I've wanted to do my entire life. I wanted to be an airline pilot. I ended up being a paramedic. That's not even close, but I ended up getting my private pilot's license. And just the thrill of going down the runway, pulling back on the yoke, and having the runway kind of disappear beneath you, it never gets old. It's just an absolutely miraculous sight. It's a miraculous feeling. And I just wanted to share that with other people. And basically it's really worked because, I mean, there's roughly, 300,000 pilots in the United States, but we have 10 million viewers. So there's obviously a whole lot more people who are interested in aviation who aren't exclusively pilots. Well, if you see kind of the pattern of how the Aviators came to be and what it's been doing, that pattern has repeated itself now with the RVers. I already mentioned that we've been RV passionate for a long, long time.
Yeah.
But once we jumped into it a few years ago, we have learned so much. I mean, I'm not a handy person by any means. I actually impress myself at how handy I've become by sheer necessity. I mean, you have to be handy-ish, or else you shouldn't really be in an RV.
Write that down, everyone. Everyone, you have to be handy-ish. No, that's so true.
That's a minimum requirement.
Yeah. RVing basics right here tonight, guys. Yeah, I was just telling Anthony before the show, my husband's an RV mechanic, and I moved my camera and I said, I don't have a couch in my RV, but I have this box full of tools, and our battery is acting weird today, so before the show, I was begging my husband to please stop working, and he was trying, pulling fuses and things like that. And I always tell people that there's no way I could RV without my husband, because a fuse would blow and I would say, oh my gosh, this thing's a lemon, like I better trade it in right now, and I would just lose so much money all the time. So that is a good that is a really good tip. Be handy-ish. So I love that you said your viewers there were only a certain number of pilots, but your viewership was much bigger than that. My husband was in the Army before, and he was an air traffic controller, and now he's going to school to be an aircraft mechanic. So obviously that's one of his passions as well. And I think that goes for RVing also. You know, you might see a lot of full-time RVers, you know, doing things like this, having blogs, you know, incredible Instagram accounts. But the passion for RVing is so much bigger. You go to an RV show, and there's, you know, tens of thousands of people out there. And that's just one location, 1 month, 1 weekend of the year, right? So how did you decide, or what made you decide to kind of switch gears and take that passion that you had for RVing and bring it to the screen for other people?
Well, I mean, the Aviators had been going on for a while. We're going to be releasing our 8th season this year, and we'd like to take it to at least 10 seasons. That would be a good milestone for Aviators. But, I mean, shows don't go on forever. I mean, it's not going to go on for another 15, 20 years. So we're kind of thinking, okay, what comes next? What comes next? And, well, kind of selfishly, I do TV shows about things that interest me, and RVing kind of interests me a whole lot. So why don't we have an RVing show? And I know my wife suggested it a while ago, but I think we were too early into it, and I didn't know so much about RVing, and I was learning so much still at the time that that might have been actually the perfect time to do a show. I'm not sure, but we're certainly doing it now, and we're thrilled. But I think the thing that has really bowled us over more than I could have expected is the response from the RVing community and the RVing industry. I mean, we announced the thing in like the very end of October, so a little over 3 months now. We announced it. It's like floodgates open. How they can start organizations, social media. So many RVers in social started reaching out to us. There's a massive groundswell of support of what we are planning on doing. And if there's any indication that we're doing the right thing, that is it. So we are as thrilled as we were to kick it off. We're just absolutely pumped up now because the industry and the community is just so encouraging of the show. We're ready. We're ready.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, people always say, and so my website is called The Virtual Campground, and it's, you know, TVC Live, The Virtual Campground Live, and it's all about the community and building it and knowing that you're not alone out there, and there are so many people out there that are passionate. So I love that you brought that up. You know, the second we started putting out, you know, we're going to do this show, everyone was like, oh my gosh, welcome, you know, kind of like, you know, back in the 50s when you moved into a neighborhood, right? Everyone's knocking on your door.
Exactly.
And it really is, I don't know if it's because we spend time in campgrounds and it's still like that, you know, when you get to a campground, people are eager to have online community. It parallels that. And so I just love that you said that. That's really cool. That's awesome.
Well, we found in our travels that it is very neighborly, very community-based, but at the same time, there's a lot of privacy. So, I mean, you could keep to yourself, like, and people aren't necessarily coming over every 5 minutes to borrow a cup of sugar or to impose upon your privacy, you know. So people are very, very private, but at the same time, if you're out and about, everyone always is a wave to someone else, and if you're in the middle of something, like you're fixing something or you sprung or whatever, there's always someone to help. You don't even have to ask for it. People will volunteer if they have spare parts that they can contribute to help solve your problem. Absolutely will. I'll tell you, the RVing community is nothing we've ever really experienced before. It's such a friendly, welcoming, encouraging group. One kind of RVer. I mean,
so true.
There's definitely that common denominator of community, no matter what. Right. But you could have a 30-year-old RV or a 30-day-old RV, have a $30,000 RV or a $500,000 RV. that common denominator is throughout, and it's a real equalizer. You know,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Can I tell you what that common denominator is? Have you figured it out?
No, tell me.
It's the black tank. You know, whether if you have a $2 million rig or you have a $200 pop-up that, you inherited from your grandmother, we all have that tank. You know, it's all just literally looming beneath our feet. No matter what your style of camping is, there's still those crappy situations that happen, and it really does. Yeah, it really. I mean, you nailed it. It really brings us together.
I may end up stealing that from you. Use that. I'm going to refer to the black tank as like the equalizer or something.
It totally is. And shameless plug right now for my book, Tales from the Black Tank. So I will send you a copy, Anthony. You'll love it.
Thank you.
Will love it.
Thank you very much.
I could not help but say that because that is just so funny. It's something that I always tell people, and people in the comments. There's some people that I know personally, and they always tell me that too. They're like, "Well, it's the Black Tank. We're all in it together." So yeah, it's so funny. So I read on your website that it says, actually I'm going to read it right now so I don't mess up the quote. Unlike existing reality-style shows, the RVers is focused not on false drama, but good and useful information and a true depiction of the RV lifestyle. So can you tell us more about the format of the show? Maybe is it going to be like the Aviators? In what ways? And how is it going to be a little different as well?
Well, it's actually exactly like the Aviators. So if you haven't seen the Aviators, just explain the format.
Yeah, let's do that.
It's not truly magazine style, but if you think of what a magazine style TV show would be, it would resemble that. I can tell you one thing it's not, and you hinted on it there. It's absolutely, positively, 100%, let me say that again, absolutely, positively, 100% not a reality show. We're not interested in that. We dabbled in unscripted documentaries in the aviation space, and when we tried to reach more viewers by way of like the popular ones, the broadcasters really wanted us to take it down the path of reality, which is it can look unscripted but really scripted, and the is not necessarily real. It's manufactured. It's blown out of proportion, and then it comes full circle and there's conflict where none exists. We're not interested in any of that at all. We want to share information. We want to share our passion. We want to share the thing we've learned along the way. We want to put it in one place under one umbrella called the RVers TV show. We want to get people who are interested in RVing but haven't taken a step. We want to kind of mystify things that might be preventing them from taking that step. I mean, I'm a case study. Why was I interested in RVing for 15, 20 years before actually participating in RVing? I feel that I'm 15 or 20 years too late, and of course it's too late to start RVing, but if you think about it at a point in time, and it's something that you might like to do, it absolutely 100% get into your lifestyle, because there's every kind of RVing that you could possibly say, well, I'm not an RV type. Well, why not? You live in a place, you enjoy doing things, and you enjoy going to places. You could put it together in an RV, and you'd be shocked at how much you'd enjoy it, or maybe you wouldn't be. But then what the heck are you waiting for? What the heck was I waiting for? So we finally did it, enjoyed it, and now we want to make sure that other people who are RV, they're not RVers yet. They're RV wannabes. We got to get them into it. So the show is intended to share information, share knowledge, share the passion, the good, bad, and the ugly. I mean, everything about it. We're going to talk about the black tank. It's a real part of it. and really demystify it and get people excited about it. And for people who are doing RVing right now, maybe show them aspects of RVing that they're not familiar with, because there are so many varieties and so many different kinds of people and places and RVs and ways to use your RVs and things to have in your RV. We just hope that there's going to be something for everyone all the time. And so fake drama is not part of it.
Well, I love that. And I think with RVing, especially as a new person trying it out, there's going to be drama in that it's a learning curve. You know, it is fun, and you can, you know, there are so many different styles, but that learning curve is going to be slightly dramatic anyway. So yeah, you definitely don't need to be adding any of that anyway. But I love what you're doing, because I feel like out there, especially now with, you know, there's a million blogs, there's a million accounts, there's just so much information out there, and it's so hard to sift through it, to think, you know, what is this good information? Is this bad information? How long has this person been RVing? What lens are they coming from? You know, is this, you know, applicable to my lifestyle, to, you know, I'm Canadian, does this make sense for me? I'm American, does this make sense for me? Like, there's just so much information out there, so I love that you're trying to put it all together, make it, it's not a reality show in the way you think of reality shows on other networks, but something that's going to be educational and entertaining at the same time, so I love that.
Exactly.
I love that. Let's look at the comments real quick. Technomania here. They say they're...
Hey!
Yeah, hey!
Sherry and Chris, they're terrific. I can tell you that when it comes to technology, connectivity, anything to do with tech in the mobile lifestyle, there's none better than Technomania. Sherry and Chris are the absolute greatest.
They are the pros. They said there's enough real drama, ... bad cell signal. Exactly. I was telling Anthony how one episode I was 10 minutes late because this poor woman heard technology. Trying to do a live show with RVers can be, you know, literally hell on wheels. So me and Anthony hopped on the call 20 minutes early just to make sure that everything was good to go. Let's see what else. Trekkers say they drive a Class B and they still have all the comforts of home, but at a model train scale. So it's all depends on your level of comfort.
Well, you know, if I can just jump in on that, we have a Class B as well. We, I'm talking to you right now in our fifth wheel, but we're planning on heading south next week, believe it or not, to Florida, to Texas and Arizona. We have to complete some filming for the Aviators. And the initial plan was to take the fifth wheel. We'd previously been RVing in a Class A, and just last year we got rid of the Class A in favor of the fifth wheel. And the fifth wheel is a home on wheels. It's just absolutely outstanding and phenomenal. But between the fifth wheel and the massive pickup truck that tows it, we're about as long as an 18-wheeler tractor trailer. And especially now that we're snowed in, I'm glad we planned ahead anticipating exactly this. But we didn't really, while we're able to travel, if we're kind of on a run and gun kind of a situation where we have to go here and there and here and there, we didn't think taking a tractor trailer would be the way to do it. So we looked into... we were actually looking into a Class C, and we just stumbled into a Class B and thought, well, isn't this something? And long story short, we have a 2019 Heimer Active 2 that we have prepared up for ourselves, and my introduction to Class Bs is what's going to make me the Class B host of the show.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering about that.
As I learn, our viewers are going to learn, and as we enjoy the Class B aspect of RVing, we're going to share that with our viewers as well.
I love that. So I just have to interrupt the broadcast for one moment. Mike the mailman is on the road finally. He said this week he graduated from wannabe to full-time RVer. So congratulations, Mike. That's so cool. I'm so glad. Thank you for sharing that with us. What an awesome moment. Awesome. So I know you said that, part of the reason you wanted to create the show and bring it to the audience was, you waited so long to get into RVing, but you had a passion. Can you explain your RV story a little more? Did you just think about RVing for a long time before, I guess pulling the trigger, or how did you come about finally getting that Class A?
It was really a curiosity most of the time. We'd be going through a mall, and there'd be like a conference area of a mall. I'm thinking in the Buffalo, New York area specifically. And in this conference area of this mall, there were a bunch of RVs, and like a sort of a mini RV show. So we just kind of, oh wow, look at that, that's neat. And then we started looking around, and this was a long, long time ago now. And we had no idea. They just looked so cool. It looked like whatever on the outside. It looked like anything that you may have seen going down the highway. But if you don't know how they're equipped, it just blows you away. They have everything. And of course, being RVers now, well, of course they have everything. But if you don't know that, you have no idea what's in it. Oh, maybe it's got a bed or something. It's got a full bath. It's got a full kitchen. Oh my God, how do they do that? So it just blew us away. And of course, that fascinated us. We looked at one, we looked at another, and hey, maybe we could get one. And then you leave and you talk about it a little bit more. And then a few days go by, you talk about it a little bit less, and then less. And then you kind of just forget about it.
Right.
Until the next time you stumble across an RV show, or you're driving by an RV dealer.
Go to that mall
and you go, hey, there's another one. Maybe we should go look at a couple. So it kind of, your interest kind of does this for a while. And because we were filming with Aviators, we kind of thought, you know what, we're spending like half the year not at home, and we're flying into a place, we're doing our shoot, and then we're leaving. So I'm not home, and I'm traveling, but I'm not really enjoying the traveling because I'm in, working, and leaving. There's got to be a better way. So we thought, okay, maybe that whole RV thing that we've been kind of entertaining casually for so long, maybe we get an RV, maybe we drive to these places, and maybe we actually see them while we're there. And that was the initial thought, and that's what made us think, okay, it's time to do it.
I'm like, it's like that moment in the movie when, like, the man looks in and it's like, duh, like, duh. It's just so crazy, it just might work.
Oh, and it has. And from January 2015, when we seriously started looking at RVing, I'll tell you, it progressed rapidly and rapidly, because by April we had sold our house, gotten rid of all our possessions, and decided if we're doing this, we're going to do it. And the first night we spent in an RV was our first night as full-time RVers, if you can believe it.
Oh, I believe it, baby. There's a lot of people like that it seems like that's a lot with some full-timers. They just get, especially the ones that have been thinking forever about it, you just get to a point where you're like, all right, I'm in. Like, I'm all in, and you just push all the chips in, you say, whatever. And it sounds crazy, I think, to people that aren't RVers, but, to me, I'm like, oh, yeah, I believe that. But, my brother would say, oh, my gosh. And I always tell people, if you don't like it, there's always a house for sale. Like, there's always going to be an apartment you can rent. Somebody's always, especially nowadays, with so many people wanting to RV, you're going to be able to sell it, as long as,
absolutely,
you take some time and do a little research and buy properly, you'll be able to sell it, So, yeah, I love that. My story is a lot shorter. I thought about RVing, and then I bought the RV about 14 days later. And we moved
There you
in.
go.
So, yeah, so we all have our own little crazy, and then I was doing it. So that's awesome. And I love that, you're obviously an established producer. You have this series. It's on its 8th season, right? Coming out?
Right.
Right. 8 on the way to 10. And so, you know what you're doing in that arena, but you're also a full-time RVer, which I actually didn't even know until we started this interview, and you just told me. So I think that's really cool because it establishes this authenticity, just the way that I think your Aviators show did, and people, I think, they just crave that, right? Like you said, that false drama is just, it was fun back in the, early 2000s when you thought it was real, but now it's just so painfully obvious that it's scripted. So I love that.
And there's an audience for it, obviously, because they continue to do it, and that's great. I mean, I'm not criticizing reality shows. It's obviously got a massive appeal. It's just not what we want to do. I mean, we want to be authentic. I mean, truly authentic. And a lot of television shows are made by people in a room, and they basically just apply the same formulaic approach to conflict and conflict resolution, whether it's in a pawn shop or a storage locker or a motorcycle garage on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah, I love that.
It's just a repeatable formula, and it works. So I mean, I can't knock what works, but this works for us.
Yeah.
I think it works for us. It works for our audience, and I think our audience really appreciates the fact that we're authentic. I mean, if I wasn't an RVer, I wouldn't have the interest in doing the show because I only want to do what personally interests me. And, when we do interviews with people, and not to say that this is the way to do it or the professional approach, this is the way I do it. When we go and do an interview, whether it's for Aviators or I would assume coming forward with RVers, I don't like to script my questions and figure out. I just want to be naturally inquisitive. I want to learn things. Mm-hmm. So you have something interesting to tell me, and I'm just going to be like a kid with a million questions going after the information because I want to know. So we're getting information that I think is going to be useful to our viewers because I'm personally going to find it useful too. And I want to kind of be the conduit to the information and at the same time be the conduit to our viewers, I mean, I am a vessel.
You hear that, folks? He's selfless. He's a vessel for the people.
I just felt some quirkiness coming on and I couldn't resist. Sorry.
No. I love that. And it's so true. Like, I have this little live streaming show, and it's one of my friends asked me the other day, hey, what are your goals for this? And I said, right now, I'm just having fun, and I'm just, I'm asking people on that I genuinely want to know what they have to say, topics I'm interested in, and the people that are interested in will show up too. And, some days I have, 70 people show up, some days I have 10, but I'm still here and I'm still interested. And so, yeah, I love that. And I think, that authenticity will shine through. Especially, I love that you're getting into the Class B for the show. I think that is, wicked cool. I think it'll be really fun, especially, I don't know, Class B's, to me, that's a whole different level. Just because of the space, the systems, of course, are the same, but the space, I think, especially if you're coming from a fifth wheel right now, where you just said, ooh, it's luxurious, it's literally a home on wheels. I think that'll be a really fun thing to see for your first season.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Although I do want to make sure that people are aware at the same time, it's also not going to be a travelogue. So it's not going to be about me. It's not going to be about my adventures. And today we're going here and we're doing this and we're doing that. It's sort of not a video diary. And there's a lot of people online that have a following, and they do sort of a video diary, and that's great. And there are people who want to see that. Our show is going to be informational. So if you want to know about me and what I like and what we're doing today, and obviously we're going to sort of represent what you can do in your RV through our hosts by showing them and doing them. But it's not about me, and it's really not about any of our hosts, to tell you the truth. It's really about the information. It's about the content. We want to present factual information. We want to sort of depict what the lifestyle is all about, and largely a lot of technical things. Now, these aren't things that you can't just go on the internet and find out about. But sometimes it's a you don't know what you don't know kind of thing. So you watch the show, we show you something that's interesting, and we're not going to get down to, I mean, a TV show has got a finite block of time.
Right.
So we're not going to show you everything there is to know about any one particular topic, but we may introduce you to that topic, and we may sort of stir up some interest in any given topic that, you know, maybe it hadn't occurred to you before, or maybe you had a passing interest, and we kind of sort of fan those flames a little bit. But what we'd like you to do after we've kind of introduced you to a topic or a concept or whatever, we'd like you then to take the information that our hosts are presenting, and they're going to expand on it on their own websites. I use Technomadia as an example, but we also have other hosts, like we have for the fifth wheel and the pickup truck kind of space. We have Justin Davis of Big Truck, Big RV, and we have, of course, the RV Geeks, which, fun fact, when we started to get serious about RVing, I thought, okay, what was the one thing I was afraid of? And you know, it was the whole concept of the black tank. I had no clue. So I looked up a video, and I watched my very first RVing video as we were getting serious about RVing, and it was the RV Geeks. And
that's so cool.
It is. And of course, after I watched that video, I watched like about 1 million other RV Geeks videos.
Of course. We all have.
They have taught me so much. I'm so grateful to them for everything I learned. So when we did the show, they were like the first people I had to contact.
That's really cool.
But, I mean, if you want the details, if you want the nuts and bolts, the step-by-step of whatever concept we've introduced on the show, then we're going to suggest that you go to the experts and get the rest of the information. So if it's about connectivity, you got to go to Cherie and Chris. If it's about just RV, you know, stuff, black tanks and changing this and doing that, it's the RV Geeks. And whatever subject or topic we have that we introduce you to, there will be a place to get the rest of the information, and we'll encourage you to go there. We're not going to give you that level of detail on a TV show because, I mean, it might be interesting to some people, but it might be not to others. So we're going to be at the 30,000-foot level, and we'll cover a lot of ground, and we'll do a lot of interesting things and hopefully do a lot of education. But we're not going to give you a university degree in RVing. That'll be what our hosts give you through what they're doing right now.
Yeah, I love that. And I saw some of your guests or your hosts, and so we'll go over their names in a second again for everybody. But I loved that because I felt like they were such, you know, they're all basically like encyclopedias of, you know, their little niche in the RV space. And I thought, like, how awesome is that for someone, like you said, with that kind of interest, or they're wanting to RV, to go ahead, you know, watch a couple episodes, and then they'll be able to, you know, type in this person's website that they see on the TV, and it's going to blow their minds, right? Because these people have been online, they've been sharing information for so long. I mean, you know, it's like decades of information when you combine it, right? And I just love that you picked such, what am I trying to say? I guess to me they're experts. I mean, I'm sure they
are. Hands down, they are. They absolutely are. Except, of course, our Class B host is by no means an expert.
But that will make it, I think that will make it, you know, add that authenticity. And when you have Technomadia, RV Geeks, I always mess up the name, Big Truck, Big RV.
Big Truck, Big RV.
Okay, you think I would understand that, but
it was the same thing when we were going to fifth wheels, and I was having to learn about fifth wheels and pickup trucks, which I had no knowledge of.
Right.
Big Truck, Big RV. I mean, I just got so much information from him,
right.
And interesting way. Like all of the hosts deliver the information actually completely differently from one another, and it's all effective, and it works for them, and it obviously works for their followers. It's going to be nice to sort of consolidate them in one place, but not take away from what they're doing. And we absolutely don't want to do that. We want to maybe introduce them and say, by all means, there's so much more for you to know. Here's where, if you've liked the information that you've gotten from them here on the RVers, then here's where you can get a whole lot more of that very same really good information.
Right. I love that. So let's, so when and where can we watch this? I know you guys, you're going to get into your Class B, you said next week? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I don't know how much filming we're going to do for that per se, but obviously there will be filming taking place. Mm-hmm. I don't think we're going to be doing any dedicated segments on this trip, but it's more of an Aviators shoot. But I mean, because we're going to be spending a lot of time in the Class B and doing a lot of travel, there will be RVing stuff shot, of course. But the show is going to come out in late 2019. Okay. And in the U.S., it's going to air on PBS. I can't give you a time or date right now, and I can't give you a time slot. PBS, our relationship with PBS, we're an independent production company. We don't get paid by PBS. And how it works is we give the show to 350-odd independent stations, and they air it at the time when they think that they should air it. So, I mean, right now, there's an episode of Aviators airing somewhere. I can't tell you specifically where, and I can't tell you when. So, unfortunately, how it works with PBS is really, once the show is released, you contact your local station, and then they'll tell you what your local, what their plans are for it locally. Right. In a more structured kind of a way, once we release it to PBS, we also release it to places like iTunes, Google Play, Microsoft Xbox, Vudu, and Amazon. And they do have sort of a more, it's a little easier for us to say, you can find it on iTunes on this date. So that's just easier to say, but that usually follows the PBS release date, whether or not it's actually on a station near you. In Canada, it's going to be on Czech TV, running on Bell TV across the country. Okay. And we already have our international distributors sort of doing what they do internationally. So, I mean, RVing is certainly not a North American thing. I know particularly ours, the Heimer, the Irwin Heimer Group, is actually a European company. And whole story there, they were just bought by Thor and the whole thing. But there's especially camper vans are a big European thing. So, I mean, this is a worldwide phenomenon, and we hope that the show. We know that the show is going to be worldwide because we're going to follow exactly the same path that we forged with the Aviators.
I love that. So, in the meantime, late 2019. So, how can we follow along, keep this momentum going, and stay excited for the show?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we have a Facebook page, the RVers TV. I would encourage people to go on Facebook and like our page. That's probably the most direct way that we're going to be reaching out and providing updates. We have a YouTube channel. We don't have a whole lot of videos right now. We have the teaser, and that's about it. We're not even calling it a trailer. I mean, a trailer has more substance. This is really a teaser. There's really not much there except to say it's coming. Right.
We're here. We have this idea.
Yeah, exactly. And I would encourage people to please join us on YouTube as well, the RVers TV, and subscribe to our channel there. Give our teaser a like and a thumbs up, and give it a couple of watches. Share it with your friends. And we've got Twitter as well. I'll let you guess. Right, the RVers TV. So
novel.
And then, of course, there's the website, which is thervers.tv. So there's a lot of ways that people can stay in touch with us, and I would really encourage them to do exactly that because we don't want people to forget about us. In fact, we want you to tell your RVing friends, your RV wannabe friends, and even the people who don't like RVing. Tell them, too, because we got to get them convinced that
they might know somebody. They might know someone. Oh, yeah, my cousin or my coworker said he's going to leave one day in a van. That's awesome. Yeah, so you said Facebook was the best place, the RVers TV, and I do follow that page. Like I said, Facebook suggested it to me, and so I've been following along, and they do post regularly there. So I think that would also be the best place. So
and you're joining a lot of people there in a very short time, and like I said, just about 3 months. We've got over 10,000 followers there.
Yeah. Share with me your ways.
Yeah, start an RVing TV show. That's the secret.
Got it, baby. Got it. All right, cool. So, are you ready? Will you stick around and play a game with me?
I'd love to. Awesome,
you guys. Let's. I'm just going to check the comments real quick and see if you guys have any questions. Of course, pop those into. Chicory's Travel says RV shows are dangerous. When you were talking about having the Class A and the fifth wheel and the Class B, everyone says, "Oh, I wish I just had one of each."
Well, and we've only been doing it for 3 years. We've had a Class A, we've got a fifth wheel, and we have a Class B. So we've almost done the gamut.
Yeah, I love that. You could run the whole show. Chicory's Travels also says, this sounds like a great format. We can all learn something. Yeah, I completely agree. Exploring the local life. Put your Twitter down in the comments for everybody. Thank you. Barbara says, this is exciting. I completely agree. I think it's totally awesome. All right. And someone's asking, what's the Facebook name again?
The RVers TV.
All right. And I'll add that to the video description as well. I don't think I put the Facebook in there. All right, so we are going to play a game tonight. It is called RV Park or Old Folks Home. And it's just, I'm going to name a name and have Anthony guess, and of course you in the audience. Is this an RV park or a nursing home? So it's just a fun little quick fire game I think that we can all play and all have a little fun with. I hope you guys join in on the comments. Anthony, do you understand the directions?
I do.
All right, cool.
Do I need to be in a soundproof booth?
If possible, yes, but I understand you're in your fifth wheel. You said you have your dog. You have a dog?
We have 2 dogs, Charlie and George, both girls.
Charlie and George are being so good right now.
They are. Well, they're always good,
Oh,
and they're going to be on the show. They've already got screen credit on the Aviators, so I hope to give them some more to their IMDb credits.
Oh, yes. I love that. All right, let's get started. So, again, this is RV Park or Old Folks Home. All right. First, we've got Sonata Gardens.
I'm going to say RV Park. Totally.
No, it's a nursing home.
Aw, sounds fantastic.
I know, it does. I want to go to Sonata Gardens.
And the mushy peas are delicious.
The back wreck. Barbara guessed it. She said old folks. All right. Bocage Village.
Bocage Village. I'm going to say, you know what? I want to say Old Folks Home for that.
Yep, you're right. That one is. More Than a Wheelin' says, what the heck is that? I don't know. Am I pronounced? It's like Bocage. I would assume it's Bocage,
What?
It's not Bocage. I guess if you're in Alabama. Bocage Village. My granny.
Maybe, who knows?
She's down at the Bocage.
But it's still a retirement home either way, no matter how you pronounce it.
We're still enjoying life.
So I'm 1-1. 1-1.
Yep. More Than a Wheelin' says that's a French old folks home. It must be in New Orleans. All right. Lake Breeze.
That's it? Not Lake Breeze Campground would be a giveaway, I think. So
yeah,
Lake
I couldn't. Some of them I'm like, okay, well, when I take it off, literally, they're never going to be able to guess.
Okay, I'm going to say RV Park for Lake Breeze.
Yep, that one was an RV park. I wonder if it's by a lake.
A breezy one.
Maybe near Chicago. All right. Tropical Palms Resort.
Oh, it actually says resort? Okay, I'm going to get sucked in. I'm going to say RV park.
Yes, it is. Some people are RV park because this is actually a pretty big one, pretty famous, whatever, in Orlando.
Really?
But if you ever go to Florida or if you ever type on Facebook about going to Florida for the winter, you will get so many ads for Tropical Palms Resort.
Okay.
So
right.
Some people probably already knew that one. Yep, everyone says RV park, RV park, RV park.
They've seen the ads, I guess.
Yeah. It's a fun one. All right. Southern Air.
Okay, I think it's time for a senior's home. So I'm going to say senior's home.
No, this one's an RV park, actually. It's the one right across the street from me. More Than a Wheelin' stayed there, so if she guessed, hers doesn't count. Yeah, it's called Southern Air RV.
Okay.
Sounds lovely, doesn't it?
Air, just A-I-R, or is there like an E? Oh, no, there's an E at the end. Okay.
An E at
all
the
right.
end, of course.
If I knew there was an E, I totally would have said RV park.
They have to fancy it up. Yeah, that's so funny. All right. I think this might be my last one. Nope, we've got two more. All right. Carriage Court.
Senior's home.
Ding, ding, ding. Yes. That one I thought was such a weird name. It was like Carriage Court. I wrote the full name down. Hang on, let me... Well, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to search through on live TV. Carriage Court. Yeah, I thought that was just a really weird name. And last but not least, this is our last one. Trekkers said by adding the E to air, Southern Air can now charge another $10 a night.
There you go. There's a lesson in RV park management.
Yeah, someone else, Johnny, says that E costs $10 a night, baby. Seriously. All right. So our last one, Del Boca Vista.
Oh, I know that one. The thing is, though, technically speaking, that's a retirement village or something, isn't it?
Yeah, a retirement village in Florida on the fictional show Seinfeld. And I've already mentioned this once. I guess it was on top of mind when Anthony and I were talking before the show. I asked him if he was a Seinfeld fan. Because I am. That is one thing. If you don't know about me, it's my first love is Seinfeld.
I actually saw him perform live in Vegas one time, probably about 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh my gosh. Was it great?
Hilarious. It was fantastic.
Look at me, I'm like glowing. I'm like, how was it? Did you mention me?
We spoke of you at length.
Oh my word. Seriously, this is side note, everyone watching already knows I get side tangents. If I ever met Jerry Seinfeld on the street, like if I saw him, I don't know what I would do. Like, I'm an extrovert person, and I find, like, it's very hard to get out of my comfort zone. But, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get, like, hives thinking about it. Oh my gosh, like, he is just... I grew up watching that show as a kid when it was still on TV, and remember my mom, my mom would let me stay up and watch it, and, oh my gosh... Like, if I ever met Jerry Seinfeld or Larry David, I would just die. I would be
it's
like,
a show about nothing.
And it's great. And that's the genius of it.
For sure.
Yeah, somebody says, and your second love is probably Larry David. Yes.
Bingo. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, that's so funny. All right. Well, thank you so much, Anthony. We are so excited about the show. I really appreciate you coming on tonight. It was really great to hear your RV story and the evolution of all your rigs. I cannot wait to see you in that van. It's a sweet van, though. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for having me. Thanks for reaching out. And thanks to all the people that joined in. And stick around. There's going to be a whole lot more.
Yeah. Have a great night.
Thank you.
All right, that was so awesome, you guys. I'm glad I didn't do an intro. It must have been intuition and not procrastination that I didn't prepare anything, because we ran a little long, but I think that's okay. It was super awesome hearing Anthony's story and not hearing his dogs who are in the rig with him. But tonight, let's just keep this rolling. We've got a virtual spotlight. My edited video would not work, so this one is 8 minutes, but there's some spots in it that probably shouldn't have been probably should have been edited. But this is our dear friend Greta, and she has been a member of the campground, I think, for about 6 to 8 months. I can't remember, and she runs a super awesome fun blog called The Unlikely RVer, and she tells her story of RVing in this video.
Hey, hi, everybody. My name is Greta Emmerich, and yeah, I'm a full-time RVer, and I just want to first of all thank Liz for inviting me to talk to you all, say hi to everybody out there around the campfire. I don't have any marshmallows, and frankly, I'm not even in my RV. I am visiting my adult sons in Pennsylvania. But I told Liz, hey, I'll have my laptop. I can do this and talk about RVing anywhere. It doesn't matter. I don't have to actually be in my RV. So anyway, yeah, this is great. I love Liz's idea to do this virtual campground get together on Tuesdays. I'm really looking forward to participating, and let me tell you how I met Liz. I actually, it was after Nomad Fest, which happened in Wellington, Texas. Hi to all my friends out there who attended. And after that, I signed up for the Full-Time Freedom Week, which Liz was a participant of. And after that, I kind of started thinking about blogging a little more seriously. And Liz really helped me through that process. And she directed me towards Teresa Ott, who has a Fearless Venture, and she is a real techno queen in the world, and really helped me. So, Liz, thank you so much for connecting me to Teresa. That was really helpful. And again, a great thing about our world of RVing, we can connect people and help each other out whenever it's necessary. And I really needed that help. So, so my husband, John, and I have been RVing since 2015. And our story started on Black Friday in 2014, day after Thanksgiving. My older brother decided he wanted to buy an RV to travel across country and visit his children and his grandchildren. So we thought, you know what? We'll tag along because we're tent campers and we would like to get a pop-up to kind of get off the ground. We're gonna enter the big age, get out of our tent. So we go along. And the first thing we do at Camping World is we go into a big honking diesel pusher. And John and I are both like, oh my gosh, what is this world we just entered? Forget about the pop-up. We're going straight to a diesel pusher. Which we actually didn't. You'll have to read my blog to see what the first big mistake we made in buying an RV. But anyway, so that's how we got into the world. And like I said, we're coming into our 4th year and we love it. It has not just met our expectations of RVing, it has exceeded them. Wouldn't do it again. And the thought of going back to a real home is a little bit freaky to me, actually. I love it so much. So I'm supposed to now talk about a horror story. Everybody loves a crazy story, and we've got plenty of them to tell. And probably the worst thing that has happened to us is we have a 43-foot Newmar Mountain Air, which is it's a 2013, and her name is Erin, Mountain Air. Okay. And so we were getting new tires on her in Delaware last May because there's no sales tax in Delaware, and we're part of FMCA, and we're going to take advantage of their tire deal. No problems. We're driving her back to our campground in Pennsylvania, 73 miles away. So we don't hook up the Jeep because why should we? We're lazy. So I'm following behind the RV, and all of a sudden this big piece of metal is in the middle of the road in between the RV and my Jeep. Next thing I know, there's few other metal things coming out of the back of the RV, and then 2 belts fall out of the back of the RV. And then this horrible noise starts, and the whole thing starts shaking. John figures it out. He's pulling it over. I pull up behind him. Long story short, 20 hours later, we finally get towed to the Freightliner in Maryland. And you'll just have to read my blog. It's so convoluted, and it has so many twists and turns that I had to do it in 2 parts. It was a crazy story. But no one got hurt, and everybody was so kind. We met wonderful people. So that's my horror story. And like I said, you can check it out on my blog. My blog is it's called I call myself Greta the Unlikely RVer because I am unlikely. I mean, I'm the city girl. I had never camped before I met my husband, let alone gone inside an RV. So the transition, the learning curve was like really steep in my life. And anyway, so my thing is I talk about RVing, I write about RVing, but I also write about the relationships that we have encountered, the people we've met, how our relationship has had to go through some ups and downs. You know what I'm talking about. And anyway, but we've gotten stronger and closer, and it's so I write about that, and I'm very vulnerable. Talk about things that you need to talk about when you're struggling, and also the very happy times. So another thing that I'm doing is I'm very excited about it. I just interviewed Mark and Julie after they launched their book, Living the RV Life. And so you can read the review that I did on there. And I just gave it away, a free copy of an autographed copy of their book to one of my subscribers. And for the next 4 months, I'm going to once a month interview another RVer, a person who talks about their relationships and RVing and has a story to tell. So, and they will be autographed copies as well. So I'm really excited about that. So anyway, it's great chatting with everybody, although I'm not really chatting. I'm doing all the talking. But Liz, thanks again for this opportunity. It's great to be here to hang out around the virtual campfire. And I hope to see a lot of you on the road. We're in Tucson, Arizona right now at the Voyager RV Resort. We're there every winter because my husband is a physical therapist and he works there for a few months, and then we travel around the country. But we're on our village and all the sites and on Facebook. And so, yeah, I hope to meet up with you all and love this lifestyle. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
All right, that's Greta. I just love her so much. She's so... I guess I just love her because she's so honest and, open about being an unlikely RVer, and she just loves to share everything she's learned. She's great, and yeah, definitely check her out. There's links in the description and everything, and get to know her because she's an awesome member of the virtual campground. I just love her. Thanks so much, Greta, for doing that. That's super cool. Yeah, and there were people who were, oh my gosh, 20 hours. I know, isn't that a wild story? All right, anyway, you guys, thank you so much. We're over a few minutes. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for all your comments and interaction with Anthony. Wasn't he so awesome? I loved him. I cannot wait to bring him back on the show, right? Like when it gets closer to the release date for the show. The RVers, remember, like the page on Facebook, he said Twitter, and his website. Super awesome thing coming up this year for Technomania. I always forget, Big Truck, Big RV, and RV Geeks and Anthony. That's going to be an amazing show with amazing hosts and amazing information. I'm really excited to watch the development of it this year through Facebook and everything. So thank you guys so much. And I see Greta had a ton of friends here too. So if you were here for Greta, thanks for hanging out and waiting for her too. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you next week.